Here I am with Nuria Richards, talking a little bit about the Feria Clandestina and the program that she has. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and visit.
No, it's great. I'd love to learn about what you're doing here. And do you have like an art background as far as like maybe a fine arts degree or something like?
Yes, I was an artist once. I was a bad artist, I guess.
What kind of art did you do?
I did performance. It was another time. But I went to art school in Mexico City. I went to the National University, which is well known for producing the generation that came after the muralists. So it's a very traditional art school. I will carry an egg to school to do tempera and that type of thing. But then I did my master's here in the U.S. in business, art business.
Wow.
Yeah.
And were you always doing, I guess, performance art when you were studying?
No, I was doing photography. I painted for a hot second. I didn't have a studio space, which made it very complicated for me to keep my practice.
After you graduated, you mean?
During and after.
They didn't have a space for you in the school?
Yes, we did. It's different, yes. So it was amazing. I loved my school. I had great teachers. I learned a lot, but it was this moment where the school was extra traditional and I was trying to learn other things and I was craving it. So I would come, my sister lives in Miami, and I will come to Miami and visit and go to the fairs and just like see other things, see galleries, see what was going on.
So you were drawing from that inspiration that you found here in Miami?
Yes, I think it was at the same time that the art fair was starting in Mexico, and I didn't know what it was. Like, I didn't understand the structure, so it was just very impressive to see so much movement around art, and art is being mobilized, and it's exciting. It was so different, and it was starting because the fair in Mexico is just turning 20, I think. It's as old as Art Basel. Mm-hmm. And it creates a lot of movement. It mobilizes artists. I remember my art school friends, other students, and I will just go to the fairs and we'll go to the gallery exhibitions. And it was always about like, oh, there's going to be free drinks. But we were learning something that was not taught at our school, because at our school we were being taught very elemental things. So we started from scratch: philosophy, ethics. It was different. We were relearning the pyramids. It's a different structure. It's amazing. I love that that's where I come from, because that paved my way to the market side. It made me feel very comfortable working with artists. It made me feel very comfortable working with collectors. It made me feel very comfortable working with institutions, but it's all because of that.
And you think that gave you... That kind of inspired you to go towards the business side when you came here to get your...
Totally. I learned that I was very good to sell my friends' work. So I started buying. Then I started showing things that I like, coming to Miami and visit and selling artwork, which is how I started. I came for the first time. My sister works at a bank, and I just went door by door showing prints from a very famous Mexican printer in Mexico. Oh, yeah. And I was like, would you like, do you have a second to talk about art? And some people bought, so that's how I started.
Prints of other people's work, or was it, yeah?
So it was multiples. Oh. There was this famous, very important printer that worked for a ton of artists in Mexico. His name was Javier Cabrera. Javier Cabrera? Chiquil. He died a couple of years ago before the pandemic. But he had worked for a ton of Mexican artists, like 100 of the important ones.
And he had like scanned...
No, he kept prints. Oh. He kept like 10 prints, signed prints of each. That's partially how they pay him. And what I'm saying, the big ones, like the important ones, are the ones that already made history, you know?
Anyone you could mention?
Yeah, it was like Toledo. He had a lot of Toledos, the old school people. I think Toledo would be one of the most famous ones.
So you'd go door to door to people's residences or businesses or?
No, so the building, my sister works in a building in Brickell Key where all the banks are.
Oh, okay.
So all the bankers are in the same floor. And I had these amazing prints. And I just show them.
Did you own them, or were you kind of representing this
No,
gentleman?
what I did is I asked him if I could bring them, and I would sell them and, give him the money.
Sure.
So that's what we did.
Yeah.
And it worked well.
And you'd get a cut.
Yeah. So we did an agreement. I, for the most part, took about 30%. I felt that was the fair way to do it. I have learned more as I work forward. There's a lot of this 50-50 split between artists and galleries, but
It's kind of gouging.
it's not the right way to do it, because the truth is that both sides have a lot of costs, but artists have the cost of production that I feel should be deducted, first, and then you can count. And 50 sometimes seems a little hard, overwhelming for the artist, but it's something that you learn through time. Like a lot of times when artists start selling, negotiating is difficult. You don't know what entails.
You're saying that at the start of Clandestina?
So I got fired from my job at a very big gallery, and here in Miami. I came to open the operation of a very, very large gallery. I got fired, and I didn't know what to do. My option was going back to San Diego, where I was living before, and I couldn't find my ground there with the art community, or stay here. So I decided, I had like $4,000 or something like that, and I opened a gallery inside my apartment. And here in Miami, I was showing at the building that is next to Enriqueta's, where the sandwich shop is. And so my apartment had 16-foot tall ceilings. And I called my best friend, Omar Barquet, who is now showing with Silverman Gallery here in Miami and shows with other international galleries. And I told him that I wanted to do a show, and that I had this idea, that I got fired, that I wanted to start my own project. So he came with a ton of artwork, we installed it, and I opened the first show then.
How did that go with, your building and the management and stuff like that?
So the reason why Clandestina is Clandestina is because I was with a friend, Alex Lotero, who is now the sous chef of Michael's Genuine. He just started. And he was doing these private dinners with THC, and he had a very small kitchen. So I was like, just come cook to my place. And my whole place smelled like weed. It was like, because he was making the oil. So and then I started telling him my idea, and he's like, it's a clandestine gallery. It's a clandestine operation. We're running like all these things. And that's how it got its name, and that's how we started. It's not the first time that someone does something like this, but it was unexpected. I had already met a network of people through the other job that I had, and I did my second show for Clandestina.
At your apartment?
In my apartment. But in between the first one and the second one, I did Untitled in San Francisco. So I was doing my first art fair less than a year after I opened. And I brought a Mexican artist that was working with tech. I took her to San Francisco at the beginning of the year, then I brought her here to Miami. And the pandemic started 2 weeks later. And boom, like everything just, I have no right to say it was bad, because I know that it went bad worse for many people, like people die. But it's hard to see things crumbling in front of you. It was very, very heartbreaking.
So you said it was a show by artist Amor Munoz.
Yeah, by Amor Munoz from Mexico. The pieces are beautiful, and it was awesome. I remember the last day when all the craziness started, I went to a show at Moab, the Museum of Art and Design, just across the American Airlines Arena. And Carol Damian was there. And I brought her to the show. I was like, you need to see this show. It's amazing, because there were textiles. And we jumped in an Uber with the other curator from Moab. and they came to see the show, and I have a photo. So it was very dramatic.
How long was it open before you had
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yes. So I think that what something that was very hard was it was a great show, and I didn't have time to show it to people. My idea was I will keep a show up for months, 6 months, and I will bring people one by one if I need to, and I will talk. And people will come in the mornings, have coffee, talk about the show, leave. Someone will come in the afternoon, grab a bite, maybe we buy something at Enriqueta's and come upstairs. And we talk. Like, it was a place to sit down and talk. The only thing that I had out was a couch that I still have, like a yellow couch that sits 3 people. And I turned my closet into a storage, and I put my bed there.
I was going to ask you.
I will pull out my mattress in the evenings, but if I was too tired, I will just sleep in the couch.
Were you living by yourself at the time?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes it easier.
Yeah, it was so much easier. Now I have a kid, that I have a kid 3 months. It would be a little more complicated. So, yeah.
That's really interesting. And how long did that go on? I mean, I guess after the pandemic, that might have been...
So the first show opened in October in 2019. And then the pandemic hit in spring 2020. So it was it was an amazing thing, and it didn't last a year. And honestly, after that, I was like, I was going to give a talk for Creative Mornings in person, and then they canceled that. It was called The Underdog. And we did it online. But between one thing and the next, I was crushed, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore. I can't. I didn't know how I was going to finance it. I didn't know how I was going to do anything. And I felt uninspired, and I felt, I think that a lot of people felt like that. I was talking with my friends, super strong, powerful individuals in the art world, and some of them were crushed. And I was like, if this person is crushed, man,
In this fair, I've seen you've got a lot of well-known local artists participating. Who's someone you look forward to presenting that you haven't worked with before?
There's so many. I look forward to working with everyone because there's people that came back that are my good friends. There's someone that was my intern, and he started a gallery from the periphery, like from the hood, and it's such a good project. But new artists, I really like what Dave Ahol is doing with Geographies of Trash and mobilizing people to collect.
It's kind of upcycling or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I really want to see what Nice and Easy are putting together, because they were gonna just give me a couple of pieces. I put them here, just install. That's it. Then they saw the space, and they're like, no, we have another idea. They render it, and I was like, oh boy. So I'm excited. When the rooms turn into projects are awesome. Then MyFi, it's doing a glitch portrait experience for visitors on the first night. So I really want to see how that's going. Milagros is doing a mural here. It's gonna be the biggest, like the largest piece that we've ever had. And it's interesting to see the building change.
So it's going to cover the building?
It's going to cover the front face of the building, which is the largest wall.
These artists, they're taking over the rooms. Is that how it's going to kind of be laid out as far as?
Yeah. So each artist or group of artists or project, or we are not restricted to a type of participant. They are going to take over the available rooms. As I mentioned, off record, there's people here that are residents, so people live here, and we can't take over all the rooms because of those people, but for the most part it's just like the projects.
So look for the red light.
Look for the red lights, like those are the ones. We have not finished putting them up, but first and second floors are going to have things for sure. And also the program, like if you can stay clandestina.art, the program is there because we're having the concerts. Those are going to be part of the 15 years of Pocket of Lollipops, which are also very good friends, and I love them so much. and they have helped so much throughout the years. The way I met them is so organic. Our relationship has become so organic, and I'm very happy that we're doing this year. So the project around the pool and everything that they're doing with the concerts is part of those 15 years project. And the way I met them is Tony approached me the tailgate in 2020, and he said something like, I really like this, like we should do something, and we stay in touch. And then 1 year later, I texted him like, dude, do you want to do this? It's like, it'd be cool if you guys participated, and they did. And that year that we did collabo, Maite was the one that gave the name to my artwork that I did for the pool. And this year she's doing the pool. So it's like a full circle. It's so cool. I mean, it just makes so much sense. I love it. I really like it.
Like you've accomplished a lot, and you've worked hard to get here, and clearly it's rewarding.
I love it. When I stayed in Miami, when all that happened and like the wall was crumbling, and I was like, what am I doing? I said something that it's very cheesy to myself. I was like, I really want to stay in a place where I'm in love with the people, and I'm in love with the projects, and I'm in love with the things. And it's been hard because life happens, you get issues. But I really enjoy like the conversations that I have. It's very gratifying to know that you're doing things with your friends, that maybe they serve for some purpose, that it's impacts the community financially in a positive way. I feel that in the big picture, that's something that I've always been interested in. Like telling my friends, why are you not selling this? Like, this is a great artwork. How, like, let's do something. And also finding a way through collectors, because there's so much going on and people get distracted. I feel these type of projects allow people to be more honest of what we want when we buy something, you know?
A lot less hassle involved than like going to Art Basel, and I'm sure your price point is more competitive.
Yes, I mean my price point, our price point is something that I know the economy is hard, but it's more manageable. It's for people that want to buy something because they want to have it. And my lesson is that in many years, these artists keep working. Like, it means something. These pieces mean something, and these pieces belong somewhere. There's two girls, the twin sisters, Sarah and Sam. They have an amazing project in Hialeah that they want to start a community hub for artists, and they do ceramics, and they have everything there, equipment, and they want to teach people. And I was like, these girls are amazing. Like, I want to know what they're doing 20 years from today, and I am obsessed, and I started buying their pieces. Like, I have pieces from the artists from my fair. Like, I would not sell something that I wouldn't buy.
Do you get first pick, or do you wait for other people to?
And sometimes I don't get first pick because, economy is tight. But at the very end, I pull a deal. Like, I ask a way that I've always acquired artwork, because it's not always possible. But it's not that I can buy an artwork every time that I like it. So I need to control myself. And sometimes it's more like, can I buy this in payments? Like,
Right. That's smart.
I just finished paying 2 pieces in payments. One from Adler Guerrier, like, I know him for a while, and I'm so thankful that he let me pay in portions. And Chaya Regans, she let me buy one, and she even made it for me. So I want to have these things. They mean something for me. They're like, like, I'm from Mexico, and these Catholic figurines have a lot of meaning, and everyone has them. So it's that for me. It's like they have an energy, and they have a history, and who knows what's going to happen when I'm not here. But I like to have them in my environment. They make me feel grounded, and they make me feel connected with something that just allows me to make sense of the world. for me, art is archive. I have always said that. It's like it narrates a history of us, a history of the moment, a history of so many things. And I think that that's why it gives me peace of mind, and that's why it grounds me. It cures my anxiety. It cures, like, as a good artist, I have suffered from many mental issues. It cures my depression. It gives me so much. And it's not about it being beautiful or being ugly. It's not about the aesthetics. It's about the content. So, yeah. Sorry.
I love that. That's really deep and very touching, you know. Well, Nuria, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today, and look forward to seeing what you do for the Feria Clandestina and in the future. I can't wait to see what you come up with.
We'll throw a concert there, like the Beatles, upstairs in the Seven Seas sign.
Cool.
Let's keep doing stuff.
For sure.